Hello. Hi, everybody. It is that time for NeoCon Talks. Thank you so much for joining us in our second year at this series. Last year was a great session, and we're really grateful that they invited us back to do it again. And we have a great lineup for you guys this year. So the talks are 20-minute conversations on a range of topics from a variety of speakers from all over the globe. And we would like to welcome you to day one of our session. And we also would like to thank our sponsors, which are Formica, 9 to 5 Seating, Dauphine, Garden on the Wall, and Via Seating. We also have Beatrix Coffee and Pastries right behind us if you guys are in need of any refuels. And in between the talks, we are going to be having some workplace trivia with prizes. So if you have time and you want to stay, we would love for you to participate in that. And first up in our talk series is Gen Z Goes to Work. Our student panelists are winners of Formica's Student Innovation Competition. And here to introduce them is Formica CEO Mark Dunson.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming to this exciting session this afternoon where we honor some folks that participated in the design competition that we did. Something we like to do to support the industry and up-and-coming designers, architects, industrial designers that are studying to become part of our industry. We started the Form Design Competition in 2008, and at that time, we commissioned several preeminent architects and designers at that time, folks like Zaha Hadid, Michael Graves, Massimo Vignelli, and Bernard Schumi. And we have a number of their works actually displayed in our headquarters, which was pretty exciting. About 7 years ago, we kind of took a little change to move this to more of a student-focused competition. It will normally receive between 100 and 200 applications each year from Canada, US, and Mexico. And today you'll have the honor of meeting the two finalists. There were 3 finalists, but one couldn't make it, but 2 of the finalists who will be interviewed by Work Design Magazine, which we'd also like to thank for sponsoring this session as well. So without further ado, I'll hand it back, and we'll get started with the discussion.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. And the winning piece is also right behind everyone right here. So the student winning furniture has been produced, and you guys can check it out after. Yes, thank you so much for pointing to it. So now I would like to introduce Audrey and Cali to the stage. Hi, Audrey and Cali. How are you guys?
We're good, thank you.
So we have 2 first-timer NeoConners here. Do we have any other first-timers in the crowd? Welcome. Well, welcome to NeoCon.
Thank you.
Tell us, what are your thoughts so far?
It's been an amazing experience so far. There's so much to see. I mean, we've only been here a couple hours, but we've seen so much already, and there's so many exciting products. Yeah.
Product overload, in a good way.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about your projects, since that's what we're here to talk about. So you can see right here, we say what school you guys went to and where you're located from, but do you just want to share maybe what your major is and what your focus is with everyone?
My name is Cali, and I just graduated with a degree in interior design.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm Audrey Weiss, and I'm currently going into my junior year at Purdue University, and I'm studying industrial design.
Love it. Very cool. Are you doing any internships this summer?
I'm hopefully going to get one next summer.
So anyone who would like to hire, she's available. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about your winning projects. Cali, would you like to share with everyone a little bit about your project?
Of course. So my project is called Notions, which is so it's a dining table as well as a storage unit and 2 desks. It kind of becomes a teleworking station, and the name is a nod to both sewing supplies and new ideas, because the project was actually inspired by vintage sewing boxes and the extreme functionality they have of all the different compartments folding out. And the design was really inspired by mid-century modern design as a whole, because the movement is all about form follows function. So for me, that was where I was really inspired to create something that would be super functional and would fit a small space.
Yeah. I love that it's based off of a sewing kit. That makes so much sense because I was thinking like these are all these little compartments. It almost looks like this little nest or this basket, and then you can pull it out, and it really can be whatever work surface you want it to be.
Exactly. I wanted it to be something that was really versatile that I could picture people using.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. And is there anything else about winning? And because you are the winner, tell us about, just like how that feels to put in hard work and effort for something.
It's been such a rewarding experience to just something that I created at home on my reading week, and to see it come to life here in Chicago. It's so crazy. I was speechless when I saw it. It was kind of shocking, seeing it
What's the
come to
production
life.
process like? Like you send them all of the measurements and then you kind of see what the end result is?
So when I submitted it, I actually gave them CAD drawings as well as elevations, and I gave that to them, and then they were able to bring it to life just with that, and so it was perfect.
And is it exactly what you imagined it would look like?
Yes, it's spot on.
Very cool. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Okay, Audrey, we'd love to hear about your project now.
All right, so I wanted to create a chair just from the very beginning, and I had this idea that I really wanted to create an environment. I didn't want it to just be a place that you go and sit down when you're tired. I wanted it to be something that was really inviting to you and kind of sit down and have a good time. So that's kind of what inspired my fun pop of color. I also got this inspiration as the theme was nostalgia, so I was kind of looking to references from like the 70s and just fun patterns and things like that. And then I also went with like kind of the dual function as well with the pull-out stool. So I wanted that stool that kind of nests inside, and when it's inside, it actually creates kind of like a pattern as well. And then you can pull it out and use it as a footstool, or even potentially a side table. It's kind of just versatile, whatever you really are feeling.
Does that back piece move, or is it?
So that's actually something I've gotten a lot of questions. It actually was not intended to move.
Yeah.
Because the functionality of it wouldn't, I guess you could create different angles, but I'm not exactly sure how comfortable it would be because the pillow is kind of meant to be the main comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. So we're going to have a little bit of a transition from talking about designing products, and we're going to talk about you all as designers. So let's talk a little bit about the student to professional pipeline. I'd love to know and talk to you guys about what you feel like you maybe haven't had exposure to, whether it's in school or your internships, or I know it's your first day, but now that you're kind of here in this professional environment, what skills are you excited to acquire when you guys start your journey as professionals?
Something that I've been looking forward to experiencing throughout my whole degree really was seeing projects from start to finish.
Yeah.
So through my internships, it wasn't really something that I was able to see because I'd work on different parts of a project. But now as I'm working full time, I'm seeing my first full project through to completion, which has been such a rewarding experience. It's one thing to see the design in all the drawings and the renderings, but then going on site and seeing, the millwork I've designed and the finishes I've picked, it's been so incredible and something I've been looking forward to for so long.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Kind of like you mentioned with, the completion of your project, I think that's part of school is you do one part of the process, but you don't necessarily get to see it all the way to the end and see, okay, well, maybe I would have done this differently now that I see it physically. And so to have that exposure as opposed to just having the renderings and that's it, super rewarding.
It's totally different experience to see it in real life. It's amazing.
And we were talking about right before we came on too, how the firm that you currently work at, you also have a construction division in your organization, so you really get to be involved and see the whole process, which is
It's been
lovely.
so rewarding to be able to work with an amazing team where I'm able to collaborate with architects, interior designers, as well as the build team. It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, Audrey, how about you as you enter your junior year? What skills do you feel like you are still excited to acquire and learn more about?
Yeah, so I kind of have two main things. The first one is just getting more exposure to software. I feel like a lot of times it's once you know one, you can kind of transfer some of those skills over to others, but just getting that exposure, more of that, I think is probably something that I'm looking forward to. And then the second one is working for real clients, because right now a lot of my projects are just theoretical things. You know, it's if you were to design this chair, what would you want personally? But I think a big part of it is being able to cater towards whoever's paying you for your design in the end. So I think that's something I'm looking forward to in the real industry.
Yeah, having to pivot quickly when a client suddenly changes their mind. They no longer like that color they selected 5 months ago or whatever it might be, right? What program do you guys use in school?
So I use a lot of Rhino as the modeling, and I know SolidWorks is really popular, and I'll be learning that soon. So yeah.
Great, very cool. All right, well, let's continue on this trajectory of that student to professional pipeline. We want to talk a little bit more about what Gen Z wants in the professional environment. So I'd love for you each to just share with me a little bit about, you know, as you think about entering your professional career, what do you look for or what do you want in an office environment? What do you think is like your dream office environment?
I think for me, a flexible work environment is my favorite because I think it's so important as designers to collaborate, but at different stages of the process, sometimes you want to be alone, right?
Yeah.
So I really enjoy an environment where there's a lot of room to collaborate and work in a more casual setting, and then more of a private environment where you can kind of retreat and focus and take calls especially. I really enjoy that.
Yeah. So in your mind, can that flexible environment all be in a workplace, in an office, or do you feel like some of those are skills or tasks that would be better done at home?
I think it can definitely be both. You can have it in a work environment, but I know so many people love working from home, and some people thrive that way. I know myself, I prefer being in the office. I like kind of feed off the energy of the other designers, but someone who works better by themselves, I can see them loving working from home and being more productive.
Yeah. Yeah, but I agree with you. A lot of people that I've spoken to, it sounds like when you're starting your career, and I would say a lot of people in this room probably had that experience, myself included, you know, getting to just be around other people and like almost like through osmosis, just kind of soak in how they communicate with clients, like how they deal with tough questions, you know, really being able to see that as something that I think technology is catching up, but it's still hard to do that over Zoom or Slack or whatever other platform we might be using.
Yeah, I find even with clients over the phone, we can kind of miscommunicate in ways that don't happen in person.
Yeah. One more question for you, since you are working right now. I know that this was an internship for you prior to working. So are you noticing any changes? Do you have like additional responsibility? Do you get to be more client facing? Like what's kind of that transition for you from, you know, being an intern someplace to then working someplace professionally?
So as an intern, I mainly just helped other designers with their projects. So I would just take on different tasks that was assigned to me. And now that I'm full-time, I'm able to take on my own clients. So I'm in charge of managing the project from start to finish. So if I need something, I can of course ask for help, but basically it's on me to finish the project and see it through, which is intimidating, but I found it so rewarding. And to have my designs come to life is just totally different than working on someone else's design just in bits and pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. And also probably comforting to know that, you know, your organization trusts you to do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's very empowering to know, okay, my colleagues trust me to do this, therefore I can do it. I know I can make this happen.
Yeah, something my boss says to me all the time. He always says, trust your gut. You know what to do. Just trust yourself and you'll get it done. You always do.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, Audrey, how about you? Tell me a little bit about what environment you look for in work or what you envision kind of your ideal work setting being.
Yeah, so I actually agree with a lot of things that she said. I think the flexibility and the kind of casual environment is something that I really enjoy. A nice blend of getting able to work at home, but also working in the office with people and collaborating. I think a lot of that depends on the certain stage of design that you're in. You know, in the beginning, maybe more of it's, brainstorming, just throwing out ideas, and then towards the end, you're really collaborating and bringing all the people together to make sure that something comes together nicely. And so I think those different stages kind of allow you to do whatever you think works best for you and then come together as a team at the end.
Yeah.
So I really like that you can kind of do both of those things with the flexibility of working from home and also being in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that both of you keep referring to team, because although, you know, everyone has individual responsibilities, this is very much a team industry where you really have to collaborate with a lot of people. So let's end with that. Let's talk a little bit about, like, what do you guys look for in a team? What do you crave in a work environment, people-wise, as opposed to more of the physical of it?
Yeah.
I love working with my coworkers because they're so open and easy to talk to. Even while we're both working, we just chat about even just the emails we've gotten that day. It's so nice to be able to bounce ideas off each other and chat about projects in an informal setting rather than a whole team meeting. We just chat, keep each other updated. Especially, I sit next to an architectural designer, and so sometimes she'll do the architectural design, and then I'll do the interior design. So it's really enjoyable to be able to talk to her about what she envisioned when she was designing the space, and then how that translates into the interior design. So working with a team that's open and eager to help, and it's just such an amazing experience, and one that I hope everyone gets, because it makes a big difference.
Lovely.
One of my favorite things about working in a team, I think naturally this kind of industry, it allows you to kind of be overly critical of certain things. You know, when you're working on a project and you've been looking at the same thing for however long, sometimes I can find myself taking one little detail and spending too much time on it. And I think sometimes it's nice to have someone who's sitting there next to you and saying, Audrey, this looks fine. Like, you don't need to be overthinking it. And I think that's really helpful because it's just really a big support team, and I really love that.
Yeah. One other thing I noticed that both of you mentioned is this desire for an informal work setting. And I think it's interesting to hear you say that as designers, because creating that environment can occur through the physical, right? Like, if someone craves, I want to feel this casual setting, that doesn't just like magically happen in your head, right? It's you design a space that makes people feel like they have that experience. So I know that you work at a residential firm right now, and do you guys feel that there's this desire in your designs, and when you guys are thinking about projects, to kind of create those informal settings, create these more maybe residential or lounge or, you know, informal spaces in a work environment?
Definitely, and I think it translates to residential design really well. Just like in a home, you have maybe a formal dining room versus a family room, and that's something I love to see in corporate design. It works so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's a trend to stay too.
Yeah.
Very
sure.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you two both for being here with us on your first day in NeoCon. We really appreciate it. And we're at time now, so thank you so much, Audrey and Cali.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
All right, so we are at time. We're going to have a recording and a recap of this afterwards. Of every single talk, in fact, we will be recording. So you can check that out on workdesign.com, and you can sign up for our free subscription as well, so you can make sure you get the video when it comes out. And next up at 2 p.m. is Democratizing Architecture with Tanya Khanna. So see you guys in about 10 minutes.